Oh, sure. Look at it. Oh, you're grand now. You're grand, my man. Patrick, where do you want to say like what show do you want to promote? Nintendo Talk or
Yeah, I mean, I mainly just do Nintendo Talk. I'm on the podcast with Bobby.
Okay.
Nintendo Talk.
Okay, Nintendo Talk. Okay,
Stole my name.
all right.
We're streaming to Twitch, but I don't think we're streaming to YouTube yet for some reason.
Want to check that out then?
It's YouTube's fault.
Let me check restream, make sure that's checked.
All right.
I'll check YouTube real quick.
I'll just do my vocal warm-ups.
Think we're live on YouTube, fellas.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I don't see it.
Okay. Well, are we recording there, sure, Jesse?
Yeah, we're
All right.
we're streaming and we're recording.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, we're
I'll
live
just kick off
now.
and we can figure that
I
out.
just searched Nintendo Dads. We are live.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Nintendo Dads episode 265, recorded January 30th, 2020. On tonight's episode, let's talk about Pokemon in your home. Nintendo's coming back with some killer financial quarterly reports. Speaking of Pokemon, you'll be very interested in that. And Nintendo just surprised us with an amazing Animal Crossing Switch set that we all desperately just want to throw more of our money at. Plus, Patrick from Nintendo Talk is joining us to break down all this fantastic news. Jesse, cue the music!
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Marty here from Nintendo Dads, and it's January 30th, 2020. And joining me tonight on the show, episode 265, is Jesse Waldack. How you doing, buddy?
Greetings, I'm good. We went to a little powwow in the office later today, kind of doing a little mini celebration of what the upcoming game on Sunday. So I kind of got my gear ready. So looking forward
Go
to
Kansas Chiefs.
looking forward to that game. Sorry that your team didn't make it there, Marty. But no, I'm not sorry.
You know, here's the deal. The Super Bowl for me every year is pretty much just an excuse to eat ridiculous amounts of chicken wings.
That's
So,
are
you know,
you saying that
it
like
really
it's a
doesn't
bad
bother
thing?
me. Well, I mean, it's not a bad thing until about 12 hours later. And so, on that note, speaking of 12 hours later, Justin Masson, all the way from the frozen tundra of Canada. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. I love the Super Bowl here because it is as not an American, right? It's not as from the U.S. of A. Right, but as we get to partake in this event with your country, we enjoy your festivities. We enjoy pretending like we're American for an entire 6 hours where we eat copious amounts of appetizers like chicken wings and nachos, feel disgusting, watch some awkward commercials, and don't really care about an actual football game. So I'm excited as well.
Because when you overeat and have to go to the doctor, you don't have to pay for it.
Exactly, that's the great part. We have free medical care. Yay, socialism in Canada! I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be back, folks. I was gone last week, but I missed you all greatly.
Yeah, also joining us on the show this week from the Nintendo Talk podcast, where he has to put up weekly with Bobby Pauls. It is Patrick McNamara or Nintendo Talk. How you doing, man?
How's it going? Thank you guys for having me. And Patriots aren't in the Super Bowl, so I don't care.
Sure,
It'll be a good game.
wicked sweet there, eh? Like,
Hey.
geez now. What's going on?
Yeah, no offense to
See-
Patriots fans, but I was so happy to see them go from second seed in the division to knocked out in the first round.
You can thank the Tennessee folks for that, by the way.
It's easy to hate on the Patriots, though. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody hates the Patriots. It's
true.
it's like Massachusetts loves them, the Boston area loves them, and the rest of the U.S. hates them, right? But they're good. Like I'm a
You know what you know what they say that the similarities are between old women and Tom Brady are, don't you?
Here we go. Here we go.
Both are familiar with deflated balls. And so, hey, let's move on. Let's get right into
Wow.
the news, shall we?
That was
Do
pretty
it.
quickly.
The news is brought to you each and every week by you guys over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, where for as little as $1 a month, you can join in our Discord server and get access to all kinds of cool stuff over there. Beginning at $5 and up, you get access to questions and different features of the show that other folks in the $1 bracket don't get, all the way up to $30, which makes you a Patreon producer. Last week on the show, we had Sean Abbott on. He did a great job. And pretty soon here, we're going to have Dave Ernsberger and Chris Mears on as well. And so we're just looking forward to all of that. And we're looking forward to seeing you over there at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, where you could join people like Blitzkrieg 2121 and Robert Sapp, who are our new patrons. We're thankful for you guys. Thanks for joining up with us. And you know what, Justin? Here's the thing. I asked you about this earlier today, if this was okay to say.
Yes.
We are right now sitting at 5 patrons away from 100 patrons.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing is we're just looking for 5 people to jump in at any tier amount.
Yeah.
Help push us past that 100 level. Help us stay past that 100 level. That's a huge milestone for us here at
Huge
Nintendo
accomplishment
Dads.
for any show like this.
Yeah. And
Sure.
so again, and here's the thing. It's not about saying we need 5 people at this certain level. No, we just need 5 people.
Yeah.
We just need you to hop in any level you want. We'll love you anyway, because that's what it's about. It's about the community.
Speaking of community, I know we're gonna segue into the news. I just want to actually just kind of do a quick little PSA, public service announcement here, guys. If you notice on the show right now, Tim is not with us today, but he did want to actually send us a message because some of you may have known that last week. Just Tim had some family kind of crisis that came up, but he did actually just put in here. He says, "Just thank the entire community for all the awesome messages that you have sent to me about the emergency with my family. I am truly blessed being a part of this community, and that everything is stable now, and that they're just trying to figure out plans to prevent it from happening in the future." So again, guys, speaking of just an amazing community, just showing love to each other, thank you for supporting Tim and supporting him and his family, and just sending messages of love and support. So man, we are so blessed that you guys are part of that as well. So thank you.
Absolutely. And on that note too, the Dinner Table Show records tomorrow night, which is the show that Tim runs for patrons once a month. That is kind of like our old hangouts that we used to do. And so if you would like to be a part of the Dinner Table Show, you can just shoot him a DM over on Twitter or on the Discord server, and he would love to work you into that conversation. It's a really unique show that he's doing over there. We're proud of him and proud of what he's doing. And speaking of another show, Justin, you had an announcement about the Dads After Dark show.
I do, yeah. For those of you that are asking, Dads After Dark. This is our spin-off show. This is kind of a show that is a little bit not for the kids' ears. Let's just say that. The first 2 episodes were put out on our main feed, and I am very proud to finally say they will be off our main feed soon. The Nintendo Dads After Dark is now searchable and findable and subscribable on Apple, Google, where else, Jesse?
And Castbox for sure.
Castbox, pretty much
then
any place you get your major podcasts.
Everywhere
probably.
else probably self feeds off of Apple.
Exactly.
So once it's on Apple,
guys,
it goes it floats off to just whatever.
Yeah, we were just waiting on Tim Cook to personally listen to it and approve it.
Yeah,
so it can go up on iTunes.
Yeah.
So first, we had to wait for him to get off the floor from laughing, and then approve it.
That's true.
Exactly.
So he sent us an email. He said it was really good. Yeah. He really enjoyed it.
Sean and Drew have been killing it over there. But if you want a little bit more of an adult-centric look at Nintendo, the world of parenting, head over there and subscribe. Give those guys some love. They've got a great show, and we're happy that's part of our family as well. More of our After Dark content that you may be hearing from this crew will also be going on that side if it happens to be applicable as well. But we're excited. Lots more content from Nintendo Dads for you to subscribe to.
Then I wanted to say that the first 2 episodes are still on the main feed, and I'm going to keep them there for probably another week to give some time for people to migrate over to the new feed. At that point, we will purge them, so then you won't be able to find them on our main feed anymore.
Right. And speaking of the Nintendo Dads family, we've been teasing on our Twitter and on our social media over the last couple days that we have a surprise for you guys. And I would just say this, our Patreon subscribers need to check their email somewhere around 3 o'clock Central tomorrow afternoon. Just saying.
Just saying.
Presuming
Speaking
you've
of
heard
just
this
saying,
episode by then.
there has been a lot of news. Let's jump into it, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that. So I think the biggest thing that we need to hit right here at the top is Nintendo shadow dropping, I guess, this big announcement tonight about this Animal Crossing Nintendo Switch. This is something that has been on our prediction list. In fact, Tim, I think, had this on his. Justin, I think you also predicted an Animal Crossing Switch of some kind. Am I right about that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So, but you predicted a Switch Lite, and that's not what we're getting.
Shut your mouth.
It's
What
okay.
are we getting? What are we getting?
We are getting is a brand new grown-up Switch, if you want to call it that. I like to call it the OG Switch, right? With the removable Joy-Cons. This is actually, let me from the jump say this is launching on the 13th of March. So 1 week ahead of Animal Crossing, you're going to be able to get this. Pre-orders are live right now at Best Buy and Amazon here in the United States or North America, whatever you want to call that.
Josh is in the chat, so he's all excited.
Yep. So there you go. So the left Joy-Con and the right Joy-Con are actually special colors just for this set. The left is a light pastel green. The right is a pastel blue. And those, interestingly enough, have a different color on the back. They have a white back to the Joy-Con, as well as Joy-Con straps that are unique to this set as well. They're white or kind of a cream color. And the actual strap part looks like friendship bracelet material, which I thought was kind of interesting, but it matches along those colors. The back of the Switch has an Animal Crossing texture to it that kind of looks like the ocean with some Animal Crossing icons, islands, and waves, and houses, and trees, and things like that. And the Switch dock, I think, is actually, Justin, you pointed this out, is probably the most interesting part. No Nintendo branding at all on the front. It's a completely white dock that includes in the corner a small island with Tom Nook and the twins standing there and kind of
other weird raccoon children.
Yeah, or brothers, or I don't even know, raccoon family, whatever.
In the notes, I put the Tanuki twins because they're probably Tanuki more than raccoon.
That's
because
true.
Japan.
They're creepy.
What's that?
They're creepy.
Yeah, they are creepy.
Timmy and Tommy. It's been a while since I played. I don't remember.
Yeah. This is going to be available again on March 13th for $299. Or if you're like our good friend, the Nintendo Guru, who Nintendo Talk here is very familiar with, he's already pre-ordered his. So, Patrick, let me ask you, what do you think about this hardware? Is this a smart move? I mean, we debated a little bit before the show that is in our pre-show audio whether or not it was smart to go this route versus a Nintendo Switch Lite, which, seems like it would have made sense in a lot of ways. What do you think? Are you excited about this? Just give us your thoughts on the Animal Crossing Switch.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that it's like very odd that it's not a Switch Lite, but at the same time, I'm very glad it is, that it isn't. I think the main thing is here, I don't know if anyone in the chat or anyone can confirm this. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. Is this the new Switch? Is this like the new and improved battery? Because the first Switch, the OG one, the first pressing, I feel like there's something wrong with it mechanically. Like I've already been through one. I've had friends that have had to replace them. So I'm hoping this is the new battery one, but this looks phenomenal for a special edition.
It better be, being a new, new prints, new designs.
Yeah. But I really do like the etching. I kind of wish it was a white Switch. I think it would have looked a little bit more cleaner, but yeah, the dock's awesome. I think I'm gonna get it. I'm very against getting multiple Switches, but this is hard to pass.
Yeah, I think I made the comment before we went on the air or we went live that it's odd that Nintendo seems really, really committed to that main core piece of the Switch always being black.
Mm-hmm.
like the tablet part of it always being black. Like it can have an etching on the back, or it can have a print on the back, like the Smash or Diablo, versions. But
Well,
it's got to have that black center.
They at least updated the Joy-Con strap. That the rail part is white instead of black, so we got that, which
That's true.
I think looks better with the pastel color Joy-Con versus what the black would have looked like.
It does, and we've not seen colored Joy.
Did we just lose Marty?
Oh,
think we-
sorry.
There,
Yeah, that
he's
was
back.
I don't know what happened there.
See, I was playing with my headset, and I thought I just lost my ear.
We're playing with stuff.
Oh, no, you're
Don't
fine.
turn dials and unplug stuff.
The thing is, we saw colored Joy-Con straps, like when the Switch first launched to match the neons, and then we saw them with the yellow Joy-Cons. But if I'm not mistaken, we've not seen official Nintendo produced Joy-Con straps that are different colors in a while.
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't think so.
I've only remember seeing black. It's been a while since I've seen.
I know the Mario Joy-Cons didn't get them. I know the new two packs haven't gotten them. I don't think the Splatoon Joy-Cons got them. Another thing that I think is interesting with this is we're getting the Animal Crossing Switch. What about an Animal Crossing branded Pro Controller? We have not seen that Pro Controller refresh in a long time.
Yeah, now PowerA is issuing some Animal Crossing controllers, and they are being officially licensed by Nintendo, but they're not the same kind of quality that we expect from the Pro controllers that we've seen for something like a Xenoblade or that we saw for Smash or even Splatoon, right? They are usually kind of about a $30 or $40 price differential, and they're usually missing some key features like gyro or potentially the NFC reader as well. They feel a little bit, cheaper.
And
Not to
sometimes
knock
no
them,
rumble.
they're good controllers, but you can tell they're a little bit different.
Yeah, that's true. And I wonder if it's like them not stepping on their toes there, like because they, maybe this was already coming down the pike or something like that. I'm trying to do some research here as we talk, like going to different retailers like GameStop, and I searched for Animal Crossing Switch on Amazon and couldn't find it. I'm looking for model numbers.
BestBuy.com, I think, is where the pre-orders were coming up, by the way.
Yeah, I
that's
think
where I
Best
was
Buy
seeing.
and GameStop, I think.
Yeah.
Are the only
So
now.
so here's a couple things that I would say to this. I think that this is again, I don't have a huge connection with Animal Crossing, right? As a matter of fact, I just went down this week and purchased it, pre-ordered it. I don't really am going to be I'm not super hyped for it. I know like people are like, March 20th is my day. It's my, it's their thing, right? I've never played it, but I'm excited the community's playing. I want to play it with community. But I will say this Switch dock, this whole new setup, it makes me a believer. It makes me a believer in Tom Nook. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting hyped, son. I think this is a good looking system. Like it is real nice. And here's the other thing. On the back of the news we heard today, that Nintendo said that they have no official plans in 2020 for a new hardware refresh of any type, aka don't be counting or be waiting for a Switch Pro. It made me think, no, sure, look I've got some spare money, right? Maybe this is where I need to be throwing that because this is a good looking system.
And then during the pre-show, I joked, does an Animal Crossing Switch count as new hardware?
Yeah.
Well,
The other thing
I
that
know
was
that's not what he meant, but I like to
as
twist words.
someone who actually has damage to their original Switch, like I just had the little vent cover on mine just crumble off in the last month. Like I'm eyeing this, like, is it time for me to update my home base Switch? I mean, I've got a Switch Lite too, but like we're the house of 4 Switches already. There's no reason that we need this, but oh my gosh, this sucks. It's a disease. Like every time Nintendo puts out a new one of these, I'm like, oh, I want it, but there's no reason for me to have this. For those of you who are getting a Switch for the first time, or you're buying your number 2 Switch or whatever because of this, congratulations. Yeah. It's the best one they've ever made.
Now, does this come with the... I don't think it comes with the game, right?
It does not come with the game.
That's what I was going to say, Patrick. So here's the thing that I kind of find a little bit jerkish about
it. Does come with a case, though.
Yeah. Here's the thing. You're going to release the console a week before the game actual comes out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
they've done this before. They did it with.
I know,
Let's
but
Go.
I always feel
They
like
did
that's
it with Smash. They put it out a month before Smash came out.
I recognize that, but I think it's a jerk move. I really think it should be the day it comes out and the game is included, or it's like the game is discounted in some way.
Why-
Yes, the game's included.
This is what I don't understand. Why are they afraid to sell the Switch at a higher price point with the game bundled? I don't get that. Like, if it's an Animal Crossing branded Switch, it should come with that. And now, but I want to say this, Justin. Being fair, this is not the first time in a long time that Nintendo has sold a special edition system without a game.
100% agree.
I mean,
I just don't like
3DS, they did it all the time on 3DS. And the thing is they knew on 3DS the reason they could do that is because people were buying multiples, right? They had to. And think about this.
Well,
now
even on 3DS,
because here's the thing. The sales figures on the Nintendo Switch Lite have proven that people are going to buy multiples. So guess what they're going to do with the Switch? They're going to aim to sell you multiples.
Yeah, because we've said before that Mario Kart is like their highest selling IP right now. Mario Kart 8 on 2 systems, Mario Kart 7 on the DS, or the 3DS. Notice those are the games that came bundled with systems. And they count those as units sold when it comes to game sales, which we'll talk more about that shortly. But they don't really do that with anyone else. It's just Mario Kart lately.
Just real quick here, anybody for sure says yes, I'm getting this.
I am not. I know I am not.
It's a maybe.
Yeah. So I had the launch Switch from almost 3 years ago that had water damage and got it replaced with a refurb model. So it's newer, but still the same OG model. The new battery is tempting, but I think at this point I'm still happy with what I have. I'm just going to wait until presumably 2021 with the next iterative version. That's my plan.
I'll make a
because I'm already buying
here.
2 other consoles this year. So
I think this
I don't
holiday
need a
we're gonna
third.
get a Switch Lite bundle, Animal Crossing Special Edition. It's gonna happen.
It's a good prediction. I like
Walmart exclusive.
Oh
it. I
God.
like it.
I say that because at one time I remember going to Walmart and buying a totally unnecessary Nintendo DS bundle that had it was Zelda. It was gold, glossy gold Nintendo DS with the Triforce in the corner.
I wanted that, but I couldn't
gold.
find one.
It was like, it was there. They only had one of them. I was in the store, just happened to be there for some reason. I was like, yeah, I'm buying that. Justin, are you?
It just
you're
randomly
over there,
jumped in your cart.
You have been oddly quiet. Are you buying an Animal Crossing Switch?
No, I'm not.
That doesn't sound convincing.
Here's the thing. For a guy who's like, I don't even really know much about Animal Crossing. I'm not really into Animal Crossing. I am not going this deep into Animal Crossing that I'm buying a new Switch.
So are you
I'm
buying
saying,
a Nintendo Switch Lite?
No, I'm not doing that either right now. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I bet you by the end of 2020, you know what? We'll sure look it. We'll see.
Your eyes are very shifty, sir.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've
Now,
been looking at
We've been telling him that for years.
You were mentioning that you can buy these separately on PlayAsia. You can buy
the dock and the Joy-Cons separately on PlayAsia and the Nintendo Japan store.
Is it
That's
confirmed on PlayAsia, or is that just we're guessing?
Well,
I'm assuming it's on PlayAsia. It will
it
be
is
there.
confirmed in Nintendo store. But
Yeah.
again, PlayAsia is an assumption. All of the other sets turn up there. So almost confirmed.
Like the Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons, I'm more likely to do. I do want
Joy-Cons
to take
are very...
I do want to take a quick moment here though, and I want to say big thank you to I had it a second ago. Oh, I missed it. Where'd it go? Blurpy Beaner. Thank you for being a Patreon supporter. Appreciate that. We're now at 90.
Did that happen during the
Just happened
show?
during the show, right? Because
Wow.
they're in our chat.
Come
They're in our
on.
Discord.
Go.
They're in our Let's go, son. Right? They're in our Discord chat. Speaking of, thank you for all the folks who are in Discord right now. I'm seeing a lot of people here. We appreciate it as well. That's great. And
Yes,
thank you for the
that's awesome.
subs, the follows, all that good stuff. We
Speaking
appreciate it.
of let's go talk about these huge financials.
Oh,
that
yeah, let's
we're
dig
gonna
into
talk about.
this. I'm
This
excited.
is I know
Business Justin is ready.
This
go,
gets
son.
his blood pumping. Let's talk about
Because I'm
big
going to fall
numbers.
asleep during Pokemon Home stuff. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I may be joining you. I've got a pillow right over here. So, here's the deal. Let's talk the biggest number so far. All right, let's just kick it off with a bang. So far, as of December 31st, 2019, Nintendo Switch has sold 52.48 million units across the Nintendo Switch family.
Nice.
What does that mean? Well, that means that in the past year, I think here, or I'm sorry, October 1st through December 31st, Nintendo sold 10.8 million Switches in 3 months.
'Cause
1/5 of their sales occurred, their lifetime sales occurred in 3 months.
Yeah, because that's the
Wow.
holiday sales, new holiday bundles, and the majority of the lights.
Right. So let's put this in perspective with Nintendo nostalgia, right? Things that we know ahead of time. This puts the Nintendo Switch at less than or right around 9 million units left to sell to surpass the original NES.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They have already far surpassed or already 3,000 or 3 million or so above the Super Nintendo. They've already beaten the Nintendo 64. They've already beaten the GameCube.
They've already
Those-
beaten the Wii U 4 times over.
They did that in
They
2 months.
lapped it
So
4 separate times. And did a
The
victory
next
lap every time.
next closest milestone for Switch is Nintendo 3DS. As of December 31st of 2019, Nintendo 3DS has now sold 75.71 million units, which still, y'all, is crazy.
So I was looking at the numbers sold, and yeah, 75 million units sounds like a lot for the 3DS. But if you look at their history of handheld systems going back to the Game Boy, that's the least.
That's true. That's true. And that is over what, Jesse, an 8-year period?
Yeah, because it launched in March or April of 2011.
And we are only in March of 2020 celebrating the 3-year marker.
Yeah. So if we
Insane.
take these numbers and we divide them by 3, and because again, like Jesse said, or Justin said, we're celebrating 3 years in March. That would mean that on average, Nintendo has sold 17.3 million Switches a year since launch.
Yep.
Which is an incredible feat. What we know also right now on the non-Nintendo side of things is that now Nintendo Switch in 3 years has done what Xbox One has done in how many years?
7.
7, 8?
Mhm.
Well, I put in the notes presumably because we don't know how many Xbox Ones have sold, and Microsoft won't sell us. But it's a good estimation they didn't make 50 million.
Right.
People are speculating that they hit 48, 49.
Yeah. Absolutely. So the next target is NES, and after that, the 3DS. And just a note here while we're talking around Nintendo systems, Nintendo did announce this week that they are no longer, as of March, servicing any Wii consoles. They will not be repairing any
Was that
Wii unit.
the news article I saw said that's in Japan? I don't know. If
I
it's the
saw
same
it
as
in
North
Japan,
America.
but then I saw something similar for North America. I don't
Okay.
remember where. It was confirmed, I believe, for North America as well. So, guys, these are incredible numbers, right? Nintendo sells. Now, I do want to contrast this. Nintendo sells 10 million Switches, and in that same quarter, they sell 250,000 3DSs.
Well, here's the thing
Which
though that
means there's
we have
250,000 really disappointed kids
sure.
and people in the world.
I wanted a Switch, Mom, not this.
Well, I think it's interesting though, right? So, I mean, as much as we're having a bit of a laugh about it, it is showing that Nintendo is still seeing that as a revenue stream for them. That's why they're still reporting on it, right? Because there is actual profitability, so they do want to show that. And I think it also tells the story, really, of that cut over of their kind of their nail in the coffin of the 3DS as well. And it is important to report that.
Well, I totally agree with you. I mean, think about this. That's 250,000 units that probably were sitting in warehouses, right?
Yeah.
Already made up. They've been there for a year or two. They're ready to go. And I mean, I fully expect sometime in the next 2 years, we kind of get that Nintendo will stop producing the 3D or the 2DS XL in blank.
For sure.
We're going to see that because, I mean, they pretty much already announced by saying all the projects are moving over to the Switch anyway.
And I think it'll be about the same time we hear about the Switch successor or Switch upgrade or whatever we want to call it. So
What was it, like 3 or 4 years ago? They were like, Nintendo should stop making hardware.
Yeah.
People have been saying that for 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Fairness.
funny that you mentioned that because earlier I was reading an article, and this is Nintendo, but I just had to laugh. Google Stadia, one of the execs from Google Stadia was addressing the lack of games on it, and basically this is what he said. He's like, it's not our business. It's up to third parties to come to us and give us
God.
games.
Yeah, that's not how systems work.
And I was like, if you don't hear the sound of the goldfish circling the drain on Google Stadia, man, that's a mess over there. But let's talk about some other numbers here that are important. Those are software numbers, guys.
Those are
we've
hardware
already-
numbers.
Yeah,
Those were hardware numbers you just gave. We're talking about software now.
yeah, we're talking about software.
Oh,
now.
okay, yeah,
So,
sorry.
So the number one selling game on the Nintendo Switch is no surprise. It is still Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which has now jumped to 22.96 million units sold. 5.07 million units have been sold in the last 6 months.
Yeah, I couldn't find. I don't think I saved the top 10 list from 3 months ago because at that point it was Halloween season, so we didn't do a show that week probably. So that's why I had to go back to 6 months for comparisons.
On that, the last time we saw hardware sales or software sales numbers, Mario Kart and Smash were separated by about 2 million. And so Mario Kart has gained 5.7, 5 million. Let's just round it down. 5 million on Mario Kart, on Smash in the last little bit.
Wow.
So Super Smash Brothers is now coming in at the number 2 software for Nintendo Switch at 17.68 million sold. That's at almost 3 million units in the last 6 months. Well, that was up from the number 3 spot. Jesse, you're correcting me here in the notes. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Previously, number 1 and number 2 were Mario Kart and Mario
Proactive
Odyssey.
corrections.
Yeah. Super Mario Odyssey is now sold 16.59 million. 1.6 million of those units in the last 6. Number 4 is Breath of the Wild. And number 5, guys, in 2 months, Pokemon
6 weeks.
Sword.
6 weeks.
Yeah,
Wasn't
6
even
weeks.
2.
I'm sorry, 6 weeks. Pokemon Sword and Shield sells 16.06 million copies.
Oh my God.
If you ever think to yourself, why is Pokemon important? Why is it important to a franchise? Why do they make a big deal they want to annualize it every year? Why do they put it out at Christmas time? Because Pokemon literally just rolled up to like Zelda and to Mario, and it's like, oh, cute guys, you've been doing this for like 3.5 years. Hold my beer.
Yeah.
And then was like, boom, I just took 5th place. And literally barking at the heels of Breath of the Wild. The next fiscal report, quote me, write it down, whatever you want, I will willing to bet you Pokemon Sword and Shield will be at probably number 3, if not potentially number 2.
I'm going to call
spot.
number 2. I really am going to call
Yeah.
number 2. I think
It's going to be a massive jump. Going to be a
And
massive
especially
jump.
with
And that will
knowing
make
that there's DLC plan instead of a third game, this is going to have a long tail.
Yeah,
That's the other part of it, right? So everyone's questioning, like, oh, why do they want to do a season pass? 16 million copies sold.
Yeah, they've been
That's
seeing
why they do a
they've been
season
seeing
pass.
the numbers just fly by.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Diamond and Pearl, Jesse, thank you for putting this in the notes, by the way. Diamond and Pearl sold 17.6 million. X and Y sold 16.4 million. Sun and Moon sold 16.18 million. Black and White sold 15.6 million. Hey, guys out there that were complaining about Pokemon and worried about it coming over and all the things, I think it's doing just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to be okay. And
Yeah,
and
so-
I'm speaking as somebody who, by the way, right now, like today, before I came to record this podcast, I'm this far away from finishing my first ever Pokemon game. Yep, I'm at that battle in Shield, and I'm having to go find a fire Pokemon because I don't have any that are. I've got to go find some candy and
There's a lot of end game with that
make
game.
him strong. Yeah, I know. And my son has played. He's beaten the whole thing. He's 12 years old. He's done it all. Now he's going back. He's like, I'm just going to complete my Pokedex for fun. I was like, yeah, you got bit by the bug, buddy. I see it. But now here's the thing, Justin. I think when I say it's going to take number 2, I think it and Smash are going to fight for that number 2.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see that waffle back and forth. But I honestly don't see Mario Kart unless Nintendo makes another Mario Kart.
Right.
There's no way.
And one thing I noticed here is Breath of the Wild sold 1 million more units than Odyssey. So even though Odyssey overtook Breath of the Wild shortly after its release, Breath of the Wild has a good chance of taking that spot back over.
Well, I wouldn't be shocked. I think what you'll see is when Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, you're going to see a Breath of the Wild bump. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You will see those
Right.
numbers kind of take a little bit of a run up as Breath of the Wild 2 actually either is released or officially released. If they do an Odyssey 2, I wouldn't be shocked if they get a little bit of bump as well. But I
Or
think
if they
the
finally put in
longevity-
Odyssey DLC, I think that'll
Yeah,
keep
potentially, right? I think the
people in
longevity and the tail of something like a Pokemon is there, right? Like, again, this is only 6 weeks. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's absolutely bonkers to be to only have been out for 6 weeks and you're now on the number 5 spot. That is absolutely insane. But again, it speaks the power of it, right? It speaks the brand, and then again, you've got a company that says, now here's a season pass. We're gonna keep bringing you back into it. Like even if only half those people buy a season pass,
Yeah, I was just going to do that.
8 million people bought a season pass. Like, you do the math on that one, folks.
That's 240 million in revenue just from
$240
half of the
million
people buying
in revenue
DLC.
with that. Like, that's the monetization model, right?
Yeah, so
That-
I wanted to mention 3
that's-
titles on this
That's
list.
on top of the almost $1 billion of revenue from
Correct.
buying the game
Yeah.
in the first place.
I want to mention 3 titles on this list that actually surprised me, and they were in the 8, 9, and 10 spots.
Yeah.
8 is Mario Party, Super Mario Party at 9.10 or 9.12 million units. It's almost at 10 million. In fact, has now almost sold, is just shy, 600,000 or so shy of Splatoon 2, which is crazy if you think about how popular Splatoon 2 has been.
Yeah, it still sold little more than 2 million units in the last 6 months. So,
yeah. Well,
so
and that, you know what that is? That's new Switch owners.
Yeah, new
and
Switch
parents
owners are
going,
buying-
hey, Mario Party. This will be
Yeah.
fun for everybody.
yeah, new Switch owners are buying Mario Kart, Breath of the Wild, Mario Party.
Yep. Also, new Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe has sold 5.8 million, almost 6 million units. Sold 1.75 million units of those in the last 6 months. Remember when everybody said, I have no clue why Nintendo is releasing this game again?
Yeah.
It's called money. Right, Business Justin?
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
The next thing is what I find fascinating, though.
Yeah, I love this. Number 10.
Which took
Luigi's
over the previous. Before we say it, we took over the previous top 10, which was Mario Tennis Aces. So it is now
actually
fallen
doubled
off.
it. Actually doubled the previous top 10. Luigi's Mansion 3 sold 5.37 million units in 8 weeks.
That's correct.
That's really
Which,
good.
and you know what that means? That means Luigi's Mansion 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing that I find fascinating about it again. So if we think of, and this is the thing about numbers that I enjoy here, New Super Mario Brothers Deluxe. Marty just
Mother 3 confirmed.
Super Mother
which has been out for when this ran almost an entire year, is at 5.85. Luigi's Mansion 8 weeks 5.37. Do you know what I mean? So although the values are close, the apples to oranges time out there was lessened, right? So I think we're going to see again Luigi's Mansion will be taking closer to that number 9 spot next time we do this report as well, which I think is fascinating. There's a couple other honorable mentions.
I hope there's a Luigi's Mansion 25.
Right, exactly. I will say the following, though. A couple honorable mentions not in this document that I do want to mention. Both Marvel's Ultimate Alliance and Astral Chain both sold over 1 million copies. And that's pretty significant for the fact that those are, especially Astral Chain, completely brand new IP, and that appeared to sell really, really well. So I think that's a great sign for Platinum. It's a great sign for Nintendo as well. So I'm going to throw it over to Patrick. Any kind of commentary or thoughts on these numbers or sales figures from Nintendo?
These are insane. I think one of the things, I'm not too sure about the Fire Emblem series, but Fire Emblem Three Houses 2.58. I think that's a pretty impressive number. And then Super Mario Maker 2 finishing below Super Mario Bros. U. That was a surprise for me.
Yeah.
And then Ring Fit Adventure 2.17.
Yeah, and there was, and today there was actually, they did make a public announcement actually at the reporting that Nintendo did today as well during a release, and they actually apologized for the shortage for Ring Fit Adventure as well, because that appears to be the theme right now, is a lot of shortages around the world for it, especially I believe in the Asian market. So
it's hard to find around here.
For it. Like they've been having lines for it.
That's fantastic.
In Japan, which we've been doing it at home, and my kids love it. Like they do it 3 or 4 times a week. We've brought it into their schooling. It's part of their school every day, and so they've really, really enjoyed it. Justin, to come back to what you were saying there about Marvel Ultimate Alliance, I actually read a tweet earlier today, and I wish I had saved it so I could confirm this. But when you talk about being a million seller with Astral Chain, what you didn't mention is the nuance here that Astral Chain actually sold more than Marvel Ultimate Alliance. It's like, point whatever more, point one's like 1.7 million and one's 1.5 million. But sure. Astral Chain is a brand new IP going up against Marvel coming off of Avengers Endgame and releasing Ultimate Alliance.
Infinity Saga.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. I'm glad, but I feel like Ultimate Alliance is one of those really slept on Nintendo Switch titles, and even Astral Chain, I think. But I think selling over 1 million is a good precedent for probably getting more of that. Yeah. Right.
Now, and if I recall, there's a couple. Another game that I would kind of call a favor to as well is Link's Awakening, which I believe, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I believe it was 4 million. Somewhere around there, I believe. So it did really well as well. It didn't quite crack the top 10. Yeah. But it had a really good sales, again, for a very short amount of time. We got to remember, that was middle of September that game came out. So it's a 3.5 months window. Am I correct, Patrick? 4 million?
4.19.
4.19. Yeah. That's still a really healthy showing, I guess, especially for a game like that in a short amount of time, right? I wouldn't be shocked if, depending on how these numbers shift, we may see it crack the top 10. But again, I thought that was great. I mean, it's the response. I mean, my answer here is banger of a year for Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
Right, like no doubt.
I was going to ask for the Business Justice translation there.
Business Justice translation is Nintendo is doing a bit of a victory lap for sure. Do you know what I mean? There's a bit of a strut And I think it's a little bit of us understanding more and more. I think a little bit of the decisions are making. I think when we see stuff like season passes, when we see stuff like season, another DLC package, right? There's a reason for that. When 17 or 18 million people have bought it, sure, look it. Let's see if we can do it again, right? And continue to build on that strategy. We had heard that as well from the new president when he came in. He said he wanted to do more DLC packaging and strategies as well. I think this is interesting. If I was another, I think of a company like EA. Now, EA actually had their press conference today, and they were their stockholders pressed them and said, like, sure, look at why do you not have games on the Switch? And they're like, we're looking at it. We think it's a viable solution, but one of our concerns is that the biggest sellers on the Switch are Nintendo games. Yep, that's how that kind of works. However, that doesn't mean that other developers or other publishers or other games don't have a tremendous amount of success on the console as well. So I'm sure that every third-party developer recognizing right now, especially at the pace it's going, if we're at 52 million, we're not even at its 3-year birthday. Is it possible that this could actually be cracking Wii numbers? Are we actually thinking that? I mean, based on traction, it could crack the 3DS numbers by this time next year. In 2-year, 3-year predictions or projections, we could be cracking over to the Wii levels. Like, it could actually break that record. And I think even if it doesn't break that record, it's going to be hitting pretty high near that ceiling. And I think that's a tremendous thing. And you think about the installed base. And again, over 3,000 games currently available on the eShop. Like, the system is it's like lightning. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're doing an incredible job with it. Has there been flaws? For sure, but they're just doing fantastic.
I think what might make or break that statistic is if, when we talked about the next potential Switch upgrade, if it's similar enough that it's still in the Switch family, then I say they definitely got a shot. If it's so much of an upgrade, it's considered its own new family, then they're starting over from square one.
I think at this point, if they consider anything that's outside of the Switch family, then it's probably at this point off the drawing board.
Yeah.
Would you? I mean,
I would think that they don't want to do that. They would want to keep it. They want a DSi type of upgrade.
Yeah.
That still counts in the family.
This is nobody rock the boat. Steady as she goes. Don't change a thing. Don't change our messaging. We are on point, on brand. Do not mess this up. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's great. Patrick, what are your thoughts on any of this? Any final thoughts or?
Well, I think the game coming out soon, Animal Crossing, is going to push those numbers way up, because if you don't have a Switch yet, like there's still a big New Leaf community that like is holding on to that game. Once this game comes out, I feel like that's another 10, 15 at least million.
Yeah, as I said earlier, we had Josh in the chat, which he has a channel that's pretty much that's what he does.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask you guys, like, with the success of Mario Kart, those are giant numbers. Does that help Mario Kart 9's case, or is that more leaning towards DLC? Because it is
now, it doesn't look like they need to do anything, because even
about it a lot.
Because even looking at, not including the Luigi's Mansion and the Pokemon that shot up unusually high, but of all the rest of the top 10 games, it was just looking at the last 6 months, it's a top seller.
Yeah,
and it's a game from 2 years ago. So I think as long as it's doing what it's doing, they don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I think at this point, like, anything that could have possibly been DLC for this game has probably been put toward a new game. We don't know what's going on, in development. And when Nintendo announcing, that they are working on, like, in Japan, they renewed like 39 IPs or something like that, or registered or whatever. Who's to say that one of those is not Mario Kart, right? I think that personally, I feel like we've passed a threshold. Like, yeah, there's sales, but like I think it was Justin said a little bit ago, with the Mario Kart being bundled with the old Switch, with the old one that has the old battery and the old Joy-Con configuration, the old housing and different things like that. How many of those are, how many of those 5 point whatever million sales of Mario Kart this quarter are from those bundles? You
Because
know,
have we seen a home console with 2 Mario Karts? I don't think
No.
so. I mean, this is a port, but
yeah, I mean, technically, I don't think you could call this a console exclusive Mario Kart, right?
yeah.
At this point. So I still think that Mario Kart 9's out there. I think at this point, if we were to get
Yeah.
DLC, we would have at least had one pack.
Yeah,
At least one.
Josh says something in the chat that I agree with. It says they still pay the Mario Kart team to come into work every day, so I would imagine they are making it a Mario Kart 9 on Switch. I think one is in development, but they can make it and squat on it as long as they need to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if one of these years when they know they'd have a weaker year. Do you know what I mean? And their sales are not going to be great from a software perspective. It's just like, oh, and by the way, here you go. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because you know you're gonna just make bank with that. So I think it's sitting on it for a while. I don't think we're gonna see Mario Kart 9 until near the end of the cycle potentially. So, yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
But you know what we are going to see?
I was like,
We're
how are
gonna
we
see-
how are we segueing?
You know what we are going to see? We're going to see it in February. We're going to see all of our Pokemon friends
Good night,
once
all.
again at our Pokemon Home. This
Good
week,
night, Justin.
Nintendo released details about Pokemon Home to the official website, talking about which games are compatible, what you're going to be able to do with it. And so for this segment, we're going to turn it over to world-class Pokemon hunter extraordinaire and guru of all things Pokemon, Jesse Waldeck. Jesse, give us the
That's
outline.
strong
here.
words, but
Give us,
yeah.
give us the
Cole's
lowdown. Yeah, give us the lowdown that we need to know on Pokemon Home.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at what I typed, and I'm like, I can't believe I got that many notes out of the three pages of the website. But so, Pokemon Home will be released sometime next month. They didn't say exactly when. The games that are compatible with all mainline games going back to Gen 6, which is X and Y, and up. Pokemon, they'll all have compatibility at launch. Pokemon Go will have compatibility in the future, but not right away. Pokemon that can be moved from Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee to home and then to another Eevee or Pikachu game. So you can go from Let's Go to Let's Go through home. But if you put a Pokemon, if you have a Pokemon from Let's Go, put it into home and put it into Sword or Shield, then it can't go back to Let's Go. Once it's in Sword or Shield, it's stuck there. It can still go back and forth between home and Sword and Shield again, but once it hits Sword and Shield, you can't go back. And then anything from a 3DS game, for everything on 3DS, they still have that Pokemon transporter that transfers it to bank. And then so you have to do that, send it from bank to home, and then you can go from home to Sword and Shield. And then, so anything out of 3DS and anything out of Go or one-way trips, they can't go back to their original games. And then a side note, 3DS transfers require a premium pass to access. We'll get more into that shortly. And they mentioned there's new ways to trade. A Wonder Box works like Wonder Trade in previous games where you send a random Pokemon out and you receive a random Pokemon from a random guy. You'll have no idea what you're going to get until you get it. So with Wonder Box, you can send multiples out at the same time and receive multiples. And with the with the premium plan, you'll be able to do more at once. We'll get into the details of those numbers shortly. Something they call the GTS, I presume Global Trade System, but they never said. You can specify which Pokemon you want to send and want to receive, and it'll try to matchmake someone else who wants the other end of that deal. I think I've seen something similar to that in other games, but I've never used it because people were asking for ridiculous things. Like, I want a Zygarde for my Pikachu. I'm like, no, that's not how this works. So that's part of it. There's a room trade. So people with a premium plan can set up a room where you can invite 19 others, so a total of 20 people in. But at that point, it's like Blind Santa. Yeah, everyone throws a Pokemon in, and you get a random one back from the pool. You don't know what you're going to get until you get it, but it will be within your circle. So you need the premium plan to create the room, but you don't have to have one to join one.
Can I ask a question up here in the chat? I want to bring to your attention, Jesse, that maybe you've answered this or maybe it'll help.
Sure.
Sean Abbott asks, premium pass to allow you to bring your childhood Pokemon to the Switch?
If he means if they're on a 3DS, then yes. You have
Okay.
to have a premium pass to get them off of 3DS.
Okay.
I think you can get them from 3DS into Bank from Transporter, but you can't get them from Transporter into Home without the premium plan. So that's at least my understanding. Okay, and then finally, there's a friend trade. You're able to create a friends list, and you can just do trades similar to what you can do in game. The caveat is you have to be 16 years or older to manage a friends list,
Okay.
which is kind of a weird age. I would have expected it to be 13, but maybe it's more of a Japan rule than a United States rule.
Sure. And a couple things about the Pokemon Home, I guess, to kind of make sure that everyone's aware of it. I think, Jess, you talked a little bit about this. There is two versions. There is a basic version, which is free, and there is the paid version, or the premium version. Now, the premium version for 1 month, and this is in USD, is $2.99. For a 3-month or 90-day, it's $4.99. And then for the 12-month, it is $15.99. So there is a little bit of subscription service they are asking you to do there as well. Yeah, I don't know, Jesse, what else?
Yeah, so some of the details that I hinted on. So if you are a premium plan member, you can move Pokemon out of Bank, which is what we just talked about. It's getting it out of your 3DS into Home. The number of Pokemon you can deposit into Home. For the free version, you can deposit 30, but with the paid model, you can go up to 6,000. In the Wonder Box, if you're on the free plan, you can trade 3 at a time, but if you're on the premium plan, you can trade up to 10. And GTS trades increases from 1 on the free plan up to 3. And then you're able to host a trade room, like I said already. And then you'll have access to judge functionality, which is similar to like the judge feature in recent post-game content, where you can see the hidden stats. That'll also be available, and with the premium plan. And also with Home, I believe it's available for free people as well. I didn't specify. They'll have a mystery gift thing, so like with a code, in previous games you get a code from GameStop and you get a legendary into your game. Well, this one lets you you can enter in a code or an internet connection during certain times and just get the Pokemon into your home without having the game. You just have it in the home.
So, Patrick, Pokemon Home, what are your thoughts on this thing?
I probably won't be using it, but I mean, the free version's cool. I mean, I don't really know why you would pay for it. I mean, the 30 Pokemon to 6,000 is definitely the only number that stands out. Pricing structure is interesting. I think, what was it? Pokemon Box was, I think, $5 a year?
$5 a year.
Yeah. So it is a bit of a price jump. I mean, if you're hardcore into Pokemon, I think this is worth it. It's a no-brainer. It's like $1, a little over $1 a month. But yeah, I mean, I think I could be wrong, but like the free version seems tempting enough. I mean, I don't know why you would kind of go with that. But
yeah, again, for the hardcore people who want the living decks in their home, obviously they're going to want to do this and keep it maintained. But I think if most of the people only would want this to help transfer Pokemon from one game to another. Yeah. And if it's transferring it, because right now, if I have Sword and Shield installed on the same Switch, I can't trade. But through Home, I can do that. Mm-hmm. So I can do up to 30 at a time for free.
And the other part of it as well is that Pokemon Go is not yet compatible with Pokemon Home. It is coming soon. So there's another stream of ways you could be collecting the decks and your Pokemon as well. So there is kind of some bit of a caveat there.
Yeah. So I think most people will either just use the free plan to trade Pokemon around, or maybe just buy 1 month as they need it.
Yeah, I was seeing some people here in our chat were saying the same thing. Like, hey, I'll get the 1 month free, or you get a month free and with a premium membership. And
See, the way I understood it is, I don't think you get the first month free when you buy a premium membership. I think the first month is free. Period. Use it or not. Come March, it's gone. That's the way I could have misunderstood it, but that's the way
That's the way I read it too.
That's the way I read it.
Yeah.
So it's free for everyone the first month?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Yeah, they're trying to lure you in. They're trying to bait you.
Yeah, this is the same idea as the gold subscription to Mario Kart on your mobile, right? Get a month free and just please don't forget to unsubscribe.
Here's something that I'm wondering in all of this, right? So an average Nintendo Switch user who also really loves Pokemon is now going to be spending $20 a year for the Nintendo Switch Online subscription, right?
Yep.
Okay, and Pokemon Home is, if they go all in, is $15.99 a year.
Yep.
So 16. So now we're up to 36. Part of me wonders if Nintendo's strategy in online has not been this from the beginning, that they knew that this was coming down the pike eventually, because again, titles don't just pop up overnight. You know, they don't just plan in February, hey, we're going to have a new Pokemon game out this November. Now, here's all the features that are going to be on it. These are years in the making, right? Sakurai has said for several times on occasion, when work began on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, we know that Luigi's Mansion, that they had that up and running on the Wii U. It was originally intended for the Wii U. So it makes me wonder if along the line they've said, hey, instead of like putting all of this in one big pile and having all of these features like Xbox and like PlayStation, if we have it broken up, where if you want retro games and online gameplay, get Nintendo Switch Online. If you want it, then you can a la carte everything else, right? To your heart's content. And that way they can make it more appealing to subscribers. Or did they just not think about it and now they're adding another service?
I think we should price out the full experience of Sword and Shield. This might be the most expensive game on the Switch. You got the two versions, $60 each. The two DLCs, would you have to spend
$30 on each, right? So there's 90 each, so we're at 180.
And then the Pokemon Home, Switch Online.
So we're at $216.
And then Pokemon Home.
Yeah, there you go.
Look, it's still not as expensive as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with Nintendo Switch Online subscription and
That's
all
true.
Amiibo.
75 cents each.
Dude. Yeah.
Just saying.
That's true.
Just saying. Still not as expensive as Launch Day Starlink. With all
Oh,
ships.
Oh my
this is
god.
mean. This is mean.
Wow,
All right.
that was.
But more expensive than Black Friday's Starlink with buy this game and we'll give you a box full of these plastic ships.
Yeah, here's $10. Could you take this from us, please? Yeah, exactly.
We'll pay you to come in our store and pick out all the ones you want.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is kind of the news
Yeah,
for the. But let's just do some other really quick piece of information that you may want to know about regarding Nintendo for the week. Some game release updates you should be aware of. The Dark Crystal's Age of Resistance Tactics, which was originally released or announced at E3 2019, has a release date of February 4th. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighter Pass Volume 2 is now available for $29.99. So you will also. Byleth is now available as well as Cuphead and some of those other Mii skins. Today, the Outer Wilds finally got its release date on the Nintendo Switch, and that is March. Outer Worlds, I apologize. Outer Worlds, and that is March 6th. However, it is digital only.
Now you can buy it physically. You just get an empty box.
You buy a physical box. It's got a digital code. There's no cartridge.
This is Justin. I actually had one of our fans of the show ask us this on Twitter, or ask me this actually via Facebook Messenger. Why do they do this? Why do they sell a physical box with a download card? And this was the question. He said, is Michael Bergen. Michael Bergen said, this doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Why do they do this? And I kind of replied, well, it's for a physical presence in the store because the eShop does get crowded. But his counter to that was, does it all not fit on the card? Can it not run unless it's downloadable? Fill us in here for those of us who don't.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I have a short answer, but I'll let Justin go first.
I think there's probably a couple strategies here, right? I do think, to your point, actual retail space to remind people it's there, right? That's a great thing. We do know that there's a collectorism part of it as well, so people want their case for a game, right? We know there's a market for that, and the other part of it, especially for like a digital code, is that like a digital code is a lot cheaper than a cartridge, right, for them to be able to do. So the fact that they're not putting on cartridge actually gives me a little bit of pause of, do they believe that they are a couple things here actually. Do they believe that this game is as good as they want it to be? Like, they have faith in it? So that's question number one I would have in it. So why are they not investing in cartridge? 2, is a game too big that it's not investing in cartridge? 3, were the profitability sales from the PlayStation 4 and Xbox Ones lower than anticipated? So they're looking to use cost-saving measures, and to do cost-saving measures, they're not investing in potential cartridges, and therefore going to a digital infrastructure only. So there's a lot of kind of questions about that. I was excited to be able to get this game potentially as a cartridge. I'm not a big fan of digital only. But that's just my commentary. Patrick, I'm going to throw it to you. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I felt dirty when I bought Wolfenstein Youngblood. It was just a case. It makes sense. I mean, it is a very, very crowded eShop. I hope they do an update soon. But yeah, I think it's more what you said. It's like, do they have faith in this product? But I mean, you look at The Witcher, and it's like, people do, commend that company for putting it all on there. So it's a bummer. But at least it's on Switch and it's running.
Yeah. Well, sure. We'll see when it comes out in March 6th, whether it's running properly or not, right?
We know they can make a 32 gig cart. We don't know how much that costs times hundreds of thousands of units needed to produce. So definitely a cost saving measure. And also part of going off of something Justin said, definitely, they have to have a minimum order when they order carts to be printed. I wonder if the minimum order is less if all they want is a box. So if they aren't willing to go all in yet and just want a smaller run, then this is a way to do it. And if they need to do a second run later, sure, they can do a second run later. Maybe that might include the cart. We don't know.
This is a bit of a challenging space for them, right? Because, and we talked a little bit about the importance of day and date, I think, for Nintendo Switch. This was, I think, originally listed as day and date, or at least it was leaning that way, but they hadn't put a firm date on it. And then obviously it came out to the other consoles the end of October, and this gets moved 6 months later, right? So the conversation around the game has moved on. You know what I mean? And the reviews are still fresh, that people can kind of go back and look at them and determine whether they want to do it. Now, that could be for good or for bad. Now, it did get a fair bit of nominations at like the Video Game Awards, and did have some critical buzz around it. So that could definitely help it. But I think it's also entering a time and space that's relatively crowded, right? Especially as we think of games like Doom that's coming out, Animal Crossing that's coming out in that time. So it's a little bit of this weird, like, it'll be interesting to watch how this performs. I think something like The Witcher, where The Witcher is 2 or 3 years past when it was on the other consoles, that moment, that beat, that conversation is far enough gone, and they've come back and said, well, this is the definitive edition, and you get all these things. You understand the value add, right? But when you're only 6 months away from that time period, it feels like it reminds me of like Watch Dogs, right? Like when Ubisoft put that out on Xbox and PlayStation, they're like, sure, look it, we'll send you Watch Dogs to the Nintendo Wii U in a while, and eventually showed up and everyone's like, this is horrible. Right, like this was a really bad idea.
But here's the thing: let's not compare it too much to that, because Watch Dogs was literally years later, right? Mm-hmm. Watch Dogs was.
I completely forgot that though. We had a Watch Dogs for
completely out of the public sphere of influence. Period. On any system when it released for the Switch. At least people are still talking about Outer Worlds, right? People. Still, I mean, to me, this would be like, I know you're big on this, and this would be like releasing Sea of Thieves on the Switch right now. Who cares? Sure. Who cares? Yeah. Like, I know that's your prediction, but at this point, like, is anybody even still playing that game? Like, is it, It's not. This is still something that you see pop up, and again, like you said, the Game Awards. It did, get a little bit of buzz there. Do I think it should be $60 on the Switch? No.
We don't have a price for it yet, do we?
I think it's out there.
I would
Let me
assume
check.
it's 60. Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Because we also don't have a size for gigabytes yet. I don't think either, do we?
No.
We probably won't until it's available for pre-purchase.
Now we are getting the 64 carts, the 64 gig carts later this year, right?
Yeah.
I think it's this year. Yeah.
I actually do apologize. I do see it here. It will cost $59.99. So you're correct. Yeah. The game will ship with a box code available via the eShop. It will cost $60 USD.
And the box also has that really ugly banner across the top of it. That says an online
Fortnite did the
connection
same.
required.
Overwatch did the same, right? So
Yeah, but I mean, guys, I don't think this should surprise us too much. This is the same from the same system where we got Tetris 99 as a physical release.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But much smaller game.
Much smaller game, absolutely. I get it.
Here's an example of overkill. Remember, I think I mentioned before years ago the on the Wii they had a disc print of the Super Mario. I don't remember the name now. It was
All Stars.
Yeah, All Stars. That came on a disc. That should have just been WiiWare or Virtual Console, but they wanted it on a disc so it can pack in other stuff and charge $30 for it, and
Right. And only make 5 of them so that they could get marked up on eBay to $100.
and it's literally a 30 megs on the disc. 30 megs.
They did that with what is it, Tetris Party or something like that?
Yeah.
On the Wii. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a bad habit of doing stuff like that. They don't do it as much anymore. We don't see that with the Switch, but then you've got people calling for stuff like that, like release the Virtual Console or release the NES Classic on carts. And you know what? People would find a way to complain about that just as much. Also, just a little bit of information here: the Intellivision Amico that Jesse has talked about on the show prior. And hasn't really talked about in a while because it kind of went radio silent for a while. It had its first run of pre-orders available this week. 2,600 units were made available to pre-order for $300 each. Oof.
You could also use that money and get yourself an Animal Crossing Switch.
Yeah, but
It's funny
they sold out.
you use the word oof. That's a completely different, unrelated, but partially related story. But I won't get into that here.
Okay.
6 hours was what it required to sell out. If you bought one of these $100 down, you pay the remaining in October. You got a signed and numbered vintage wood grain Amico system with 5 games, $50 golden ticket gift card for the Amico digital store. That's actually kind of an amiibo in and of itself. You tap the card and it adds the money to your store.
Yep.
A founder's patch and pin, a lenticular poster of the Running Man, and probably the most interesting thing in the whole thing to me, digital downloads of the Earthworm Jim soundtrack and Tommy Tallarico's music. Jesse, you got one of these, did you not?
I definitely did, and I must say, it was the easiest pre-order experience I've ever had. Literally, 2 clicks and it was done, because I paid through my PayPal credit account, which I already had established, and it got my name and address from the account to backfill it into the order, so I didn't have to fill out anything. Just click, done.
Wow.
I wish
great.
all pre-orders did that, and
That
not
kind of defeats the purpose of the pre-order.
the last time my daughter asked me to get something from her on a different website on lunchtime. The store hangs up, the servers get overloaded. You get something in your cart, and when you want to check out, it says, "Oh, we've sold out." Nothing but problems. But this was 2 clicks done. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So this version did cost $300. The normal unit when it comes to retail, I think, will be $200. So this has the $50 gift card, which is part of that, plus the other $50 goes into some of the other extras, and so I'm okay with paying the $300 for this.
All right. Well,
And I don't know
does this launch in October or is it a later date?
Yeah, the global, the launch for the regular units is October 10th, 2020, and I think Tommy is trying to get the Founders Edition released a little early for those 2,600 people who was able to sign up.
Well, hopefully he does a better job of getting those founder packs out than they did getting Mighty Number 9 into the hands of backers beforehand.
Right. Well, yeah, so this is definitely something I plan on doing an unboxing for and doing.
Yeah. It's been
videos
about 6 years, and I'm still bitter.
Still hurts.
Still hurts. Well, we'll look forward to those, and I know you'll post about them and everything. Guys, let's move into a little bit of fun discussion time tonight, shall we? All right, so for those of you who are patrons of the show, you know that for the past few weeks, we've been trying something new over at our Patreon. We've been allowing you to vote for the topics on the show that we discuss. It's not necessarily that, it's a way for you to influence the show, but it's not necessarily that we won't talk about less voted topics, but we will definitely give more consideration to highly voted topics. And this week, we had a topic on our poll that was probably the most voted topic we've had since we started doing votes. And so here it is, guys. I'm going to give you a few minutes to talk about this and think about it, and let's chew on it together. Here is the topic. Which unused IP should Nintendo revive at this year's E3? All right. And so to give you some time to think, Tim, who could not be with us tonight, went into the dock and he left his. And he says this, I say Excite Truck. Where is Excite Truck 2?
Wow. That's a throwback.
It is a throwback.
That was a launch game.
It was. Yeah. For the Wii. And so as you're thinking here, let me kind of couch this in some terms, I guess. When we say unused or dormant Nintendo IP, we're looking for something. It can have an homage, kind of like Advance Wars has had an homage with War Groove, or F-Zero has had an homage with Fast Racing, RMX, and different things like that. So as you think about those, you've got those, but you can also have some that maybe have seen some modern iterations. Punch Out is one of those that I think of. We last saw that on the Wii. And so we're just going to kind of go around the horn here and talk about this. And for those of you who are watching live, as we stream this, or are listening later, we would love to hear your thoughts on this as well. You can put it in the chat there, or you can hit us up on Facebook or Twitter or our Patreon, Discord, wherever. I would love to know what yours is. So, Patrick, we're going to start with you. This is Nintendo Dad's tradition. We go to guest first.
Okay.
So, your unused Nintendo IP that you believe they should revive at this year's E3 is
Captain Falcon, F-Zero. So me and Bobby actually had this topic, and this was my proposed thing, okay? So F-Zero Grand Prix. So it turns out that the Star Fox rumor was actually F-Zero. And now I said this to him. I think it should be a free game. It comes with the online Nintendo Switch Online. Give that a little bump, because I feel like Tetris 99 did great with that. So F-Zero Grand Prix, completely free. The big mode in this is 50-person races, and it's kind of like a tournament style. You go to the next round and stuff like that. I think the Switch can handle it. I mean, I recently played the F-Zero on the N64 for the first time, like a few months ago. And that is a crisp 60 frames per second. There's like 30 ships on the screen. I think this could happen. I just don't know what the interest level in Captain Falcon is.
So instead of Tetris 99, we're F-Zero 50?
Pretty much, yeah. I'm not going to go crazy and say F-Zero 100, but...
Yeah, see, you saying that about Captain Falcon, I think that they could do this very easily if they did not try to focus so much on the characters at first.
Yeah.
Like build the brand of F-Zero back first and then worry about the lore or whatever, like let people ask for that. And then when they ask, give it to them, right?
Yeah.
Start and I mean I could totally see like them running a version of the Maximus Cup or whatever and allowing you to, like, if you score 100 points or 500 points, you get a car permanently, or you get a new character permanently. Unlock a new, and you can pay to unlock different tracks or different music or whatever. Maybe even pay to unlock themes. Like you could have it look like the old 16-bit F-Zero, something like that. Like I love that idea, and then mainly because I really want to see another F-Zero game. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but
And the chat is my new marketing team because they said F-Zero stands for 5-0. That's genius. I didn't even think of that.
Nice.
Oh wow, yes.
And you can monetize. You could sell like R-Wing skins, Animal Crossing skins. I mean, it's really endless. But
Imagine Mario Kart in the B Dasher. Mario's sitting in the B Dasher and he's going up against.
Oh my God!
Come on.
I feel like there's
I
still
love
interest
that
there.
Is that, are you gonna get a baby pink gold Peach in a buggy?
Oh boy!
I hope not. Terrible. Terrible. Never mind. Anyway, I love that idea. Justin, what about you, man? Nintendo unused IP.
I'm going to agree with third strongest mole and say Kid Icarus.
Yes.
Kid Icarus is sitting around doing nothing, just flopping his wings for the last forever. So I think that'd be an interesting one to go back to.
Okay.
I think the difference between the last game and now is still not as much as it was between the second and the third games.
No, for sure.
Sure.
For sure.
So are you, like, for Kid Icarus, are you talking paid game? Like that it's a real, like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy it?
Oh
game?
yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, and I put it in like a Metroidvania style, kind of like.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm presuming you want a game that does not require a kickstand.
No, it should not be that difficult. It should not be that difficult.
It shouldn't, but it will be.
Yeah.
Jesse, what
just
about
keep
you, man?
Sakurai away from it. I was thinking, I don't remember if we ever had any in North America or one of them might have come out here, but I want to see another game where the main character is Tingle. Obviously.
I like it.
Move along, Jesse. Move along.
So what kind of game is that?
Well, kind of.
Dating simulator.
Well, I'm kind of imagining kind of like a collectathon type of platforming, kind of generic, but again, I've seen pictures of what some of the other Tingle games were, and some of them were pretty weird. So I kind of want to see some of that weirdness, and I know, like, I know a lot. People are reluctant to release the Japanese-centric games in North America. Tokyo Mirage Sessions is a good example of one that I think it works well. Of course, I also watch a lot of anime, and I'm used to this culture. A lot of people aren't. So, but seeing just some of that Japan weirdness in more games, no matter what the genre is, I'm in favor for.
Okay. All right, so I have two. And one of them I don't have an idea for, but the next one I do have an idea for. So we'll go to the one that I don't have an idea for to begin with. And that is, I want to see Nintendo revive Kung Fu.
Wow.
It is one of my favorite NES games of all time.
That's so
I
weird.
love
Bobby said the same thing.
I love the music. I love the whole aesthetic. I know, I get it. It's, if they would have to massage it a little bit for today's culture, I get it. But guys, imagine if Nintendo made like a real beat 'em up and they took it seriously, right? Like if by today's standards, if they brought it into the 3D world and they made this Kung Fu style beat 'em up and they like really went all in with it.
So you want another Mortal Kombat 11?
No, I'm not talking about Mortal Kombat. I'm talking about like mash up Kung Fu and Final Fight and Streets of Rage and put a Nintendo spin on it.
Like a $20 eShop game, you're thinking?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Urban Champion.
eShop exclusive. Hey, if it gets that kind of thing back, let's think out of the box here a little bit. You don't have to make Mario, Zelda, Star Fox, Metroid all the time. Go back to some of those old school NES games.
Mario
other one-
RPG.
Yeah, I'm looking
Oh,
in the
that's
chat.
a fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking in the chat. Mole, playing off of what I said. Tingle's Rosier Rupee Land. Rosier. Okay. He also asked, does a true Paper Mario franchise count as dormant?
Okay.
I'd say yeah.
I would say yeah, but if you listen back on last week's show, maybe it's not going to be dormant much longer.
Right.
Ian follows
has
up
my
Golden
favorite
Sun.
answer.
What is it?
Get a crossover of Pokemon Snap and Fatal Frame.
Be awesome. Ian also mentions out Golden Sun as well.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so here is mine that I actually have an idea for. Here it is. You ready for this? Chibi Robo Home. All right.
What's
So
the
follow me
premise?
here. Chibi Robo Home
Sell us.
would be a game where you play as Chibi Robo, accomplishing, like going around the house and making sure that all of the things, like it would be like a quest game, like, little things maybe, and you would just play it a little bit every day. But like in my mind, I'm thinking like you take over the Roomba and you help it run, and you vacuum up stuff, or you chase bugs with the Roomba, or because he's got that plug, that you throw in, like you would have to go charge up, and then you would have to have enough electricity to make the task happen. Or, oh no, the TV's wrong. So Chibi Robo plugs into it and it pulls you into the TV, and he figures out what's wrong and he fixes it inside there, and like, I just think that's one of the most neglected Nintendo characters, because they always bring the games out when they don't matter.
Yeah, that the last game they put out was kind of disappointing.
It was not great, but it had some cool mechanics too.
No,
Like it had some great ideas.
So you said Chibi Robo Home. So does this cost $15.99 a year?
Yeah, it's a subscription service. You subscribe to Chibi Robo, they drop one of them off at your house. Or if you want to go the opposite route and you want to go the Fatal Frame route like Pokemon, it's Chibi Robo, except at night he goes around and murders the family.
Oh yeah, Dark Twist.
I like it.
Chibi Robo, the Jack the Ripper version.
Chibi Robo takes over your home, one family member at a time.
Chibi Robo as like Five Nights at Freddy's, but at your home, on your home security system.
Oh my.
Bestseller.
There you go. There you go. So we would love to hear some more of your Nintendo IP that should be revived at this year's E3. Just tweet us, email us, shoot us a message on Discord or right here in the chat. We would love to talk about some of those. But let's talk a little bit about what we've been playing, shall we?
Do it.
All right, Patrick, what you been playing?
Been playing a couple things. So actually a game that came out today, Skellboy. I've been playing that. Not quite done. I think it's like a 6 to 8 hour story.
I heard 10 to 12.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now I will say that
Maybe Patrick's just better than you.
yeah, right.
I would probably say that. Yeah, it sounds
He
about
probably
right.
is.
It's a fun game. I actually played it last year at PAX East. I met like the whole crew and stuff. They're really great. But there is some frame rate issues, mainly in the beginning.
Big frame rate issues.
Yeah, like I don't think single digits, but it's pretty bad. But he did reach out to me and said that they are working on a patch. It's not available today, but it is coming out soon. And he actually sent me like 2 switches running, the different versions, and it's a big difference. So
Okay.
and for those of you who don't know, it's like a Paper Mario meets Zelda. So it's really fun. You can once you defeat enemies, you can switch body parts and stuff. And they all have different effects. So I've been playing that, and also been playing Bad North. It's a strategy game. Came out a while ago, but just picked that up, and it's really, really fun. And of course, Fortnite, always the matches in Fortnite and stuff. But
Yes.
Bad North is one that's really easy to get to lose a lot of time to. It's like I'll just play one match, and then you get further than you ever have, and you're like, oh, I got to keep going.
3
Yeah,
hours
I got to
later.
see what's next.
So I am playing that on the Xbox because that's on Game Pass, but I would rather have the Switch version because of the touchscreen. I'd rather be playing it like that, but it's really fun.
I made it to the next to last island once.
It's tough.
It is very tough. And
Yeah.
but like, it was one of those moments where it's like, oh, I overextended myself. And that's, that's why I'm not doing well here. I'm glad you're enjoying Scaleboy. I've been playing that one as well. Did a review for it, or a let's play for it over on our YouTube channel. And I totally agree with the Paper Mario vibe. Like it's really cool. And like, I love the music.
Oh yeah.
It's really good.
I like the
Really,
camera
really
as
good.
well for an indie game. It's dynamic cameras and stuff. I like it.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing to mention here too, is like that like the frame rate issue is because they're trying some really creative things with the camera. It's not just because they're lazy. It's like you could tell that from playing the game they're not lazy, but I mean like they're trying some neat things with scaling and rotation and different stuff like that. It's just the patch will be a whole lot better. So yeah. Justin, what you been playing?
I had an opportunity to travel for work, and I love traveling for work because then I just sit on an airplane and I play my Switch for the entire time. And so I played a schwackload more of Ori and the Blind Forest. And
Nice.
I so love that game. My flight to Toronto was 4 hours from Calgary, and I literally, like, I plugged the system into the power port and I'm just playing along, right? So I'm not going to lose power. It's great. I had my headphones on, right? Thank you again to Steel Series, because they were just like all I could hear was the music. It was great, but to the point that like the air stewardess was tapping me in the shoulder, and it was like, "Do you want anything?" Like, no, I'm good. But I finished playing after my 4 hours, and has anyone ever done this? Your thumb hurts. Like, and I'm not just talking like my tip, my thumb, like all the way down, like my hand. Like I was like, I think I just got arthritis from Ori. So yeah, it's I'm absolutely loving Ori. Like everything about that makes me happy. My hope, I know it's going gold. I know it's going to our Xbox. Please. I think it's Mooncrest is the developer. Please find a way to bring this to the Switch, or the Willow and the Wisp one. Please. I love Ori. I'm in love with every moment of it. It's just amazing. And some Fortnite. I've been playing more Fortnite, right? Because that's sure looking. That's what everyone does.
That's awesome. Speaking of Fortnite, just a little side note here that season 2 of Chapter 2 is beginning on February 20th, and they are going to be doing a pretty major update. They're moving it to the Unreal Engine Chaos physics engine.
Do we really understand what that means? Does any of us?
No, I think what it means is it's going to look better on Xbox and PlayStation and not really on the Nintendo Switch.
That sounds about right.
But as long as it's still fun, we're good. My son, I want to say this about Fortnite. He's way more into it than I am. I enjoy playing it. But like I've got the battle pass and I'm like maybe, level 38 or 40 because I'm playing other games too. He bought the battle pass around Christmas because he got like 50 or 5,000 V-Bucks from my parents. And he bought the battle pass and he bought like a skin, like he bought like the Sith Trooper skin or something. He really liked that. And he's still got a bunch left. But anyway, he has gone through all 100 levels. Like he has earned everything you can squeeze out of the battle pass.
Wow. Nice.
Which is, to me, is pretty amazing. Like I was blown away. I was like, I just have the little sludge guy. Like I was so excited. And I was like, hey son, I got the blue sludge guy. And he's like, yeah, Dad, I got him about a month ago.
Yeah. I'm in deep on it, Marty. Like my level is 223.
Oh wow.
I have completed my battle pass twice over. And I'm on like the far end challenges where it's like third skin variant stuff now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Good
like
for
it's I don't know whether that's good for me or not.
Here's the deal. I bought the Kylo Ren skin. There's no shame in that game. I like Kylo Ren. Rise of the Skywalker cemented him as my favorite character from that trilogy. So now I'm Kylo Ren all the time. Like I just,
Nothing wrong with that.
Actually, if you wanted to, you could call him Matt the Radar Tech, but that's
sure. Look at cheese now.
that's cool too. Jesse, what have you been playing?
Okay, so I'm continuing my playthrough Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore. I think I'm just finishing up. No, I'm like midway through Chapter 5. But Chapter 5, things doesn't really get grindy, isn't the right word, but it's a lot of backtracking and it's kind of a lot of fetch questy stuff going on in that chapter. But I think there's 6 chapters total, so I'm kind of getting near the end. I'm trying to do all the side quests as they open up, so it's kind of taking my time. Like as I mentioned last week, between chapters there's an intermission where there's no story. It's just time to get side quests done. But between the time where I ended chapter 4 and started chapter 5, I put 7 hours in just questing. And so there's still a lot of stuff for you to do in there. So probably will be. I expect it to be finished with that game by the end of next week. I hope, if I can get the time in that I want to get in. And I'm also planning on trying to do like a YouTube video, kind of showcasing what the new features of the Switch that wasn't in the Wii U. I may have to go back to the Wii U version just to remind myself what wasn't in there, because of some things I'm like, I don't remember if that was in the real game or not, or the original game or not. So, but I've got homework to do for myself for that. Then I just started this game came out yesterday, but came out this morning, but I played it last night because I had a review copy of Aviary Attorney Definitive Edition. It's think a Phoenix Wright with anthropomorphic characters. I mean, you're the 2 characters you control are birds, and it's the gameplay is Phoenix Wright. It's you do the exact same stuff. You pick through testimony and compare it with what you have in your evidence box and try to find what doesn't match up. And I've played through the first act. It's and that's already that's out on the YouTube channel. I streamed it there, and they threw a twist at me right at the end of Act 1. I wasn't expecting something like that to come out at me out of the gate. And what makes it even more unfortunate is the automatic thumbnail that YouTube chose when that video posted pretty much spoils or almost spoils what that twist is. I'm like, that's a bad choice. But I'm honestly wondering what happens next if they threw that twist out at me in one act. My understanding is that this game has 4 acts, and the 4th act I think is split up into a few smaller pieces, similar to like Ace Attorney. The end of game. You have 3 or 4 court dates that gets interrupted and extended to the next day, and you have more time for investigation. So that's probably what Act 4 is doing. But other than that, I'm having fun with this so far. So if you're an Ace Attorney fan, check this out. There's an Ace Attorney joke in there that if you've never played an Ace Attorney game, you're not going to get it. But if you played them, you'll know it as soon as you see it.
Nice. And you can head to our YouTube channel. We've got actually 2 things. We've got Jesse's actual Let's Play footage that he's captured, and we've actually got a video review as well from one of our amazing content creators. So if Aviator Attorney Definitive Edition interests you, head over to our YouTube channel. We've got lots of coverage on it as well.
Awesome. So I've been playing Scaleboy. I've already kind of talked about that with Patrick, and I definitely think it's one you should pick up. I'm also, as I mentioned earlier in the show, I am a hair's breadth away from finishing the main story of Pokemon Shield, which will mean that I have finished my first ever Pokemon game ever.
Yay!
Like, I played it all the way through, and I've loved every minute of it. I've really, I can't understate enough how much I really, really, really have enjoyed this game. Like, it's made me a fan. And so,
and did you get the season pass then there, Marty?
I have not yet. I am going to. I am going to go ahead and get the season pass because I do want to go ahead and expand the story out.
Nice.
And plus, because Blastoise is one of my favorite Pokemon. So
Okay.
yeah. So
Patrick, did you finish it? You finished it, right?
Yeah, I finished it. I'm gonna get the DLC as well. I haven't got it yet, but I love how it's like 2 different installments. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And were you Sword or were you Shield?
I got shields.
Nice. Yeah.
best doggo. Yes, sir. I have done the final boss. Not the final boss, but like the first part of the final boss one time, and he defeated me because I have gone my entire game and not really trained up any fire type Pokemon, and fire type Pokemon are your friend in that final fight. And so like right now,
that's why Sword Bunny is best bunny.
Well, Sobble is best new Pokemon, so he's carried me all the way through. And so, like right now, I just evolved Carkol into his final form, which it's like
a bigger Creative Coal.
Colzilla or something like that. I don't know. Somebody's gonna be like, it's not Colzilla. It's this. I don't know. I don't know Pokemon. Wobbuffet. Wobblepuffet. I don't know. I don't get it. I'm waiting for Jesse.
Wobblebuffet?
There it is.
I don't know what animal this is or what Pokemon this is.
It's actually a living pile of coal shaped like a dinosaur. So there you go. It's fantastic. It's just been a really fun game. The other game I've been playing is a game that we actually got a review copy for, and it is called It Came From Space and Ate Our Brains.
And as someone who has been an editor for a website, I really don't like how they worded that name.
I don't either, but
because the only uppercase letter is it. Everything else is lowercase.
Yeah, as an English minor in college, I just don't know. But anyway, the game is way better than the title. In it, you play one of 4 characters who basically get caught in the middle of an alien invasion on the Earth, and you start the game out with nothing but a flashlight. The stages are top down. It's almost a top down shooter like Zombies Ate My Neighbors in a way. You're going to go through and you're going to like blow up boxes and find stuff. You're going to find upgrades. You're going to find cash to be able to buy new weapons, and all while fending off a never ceasing, always spawning army of aliens that are following you, trying to kill you.
Sounds unpleasant.
So you can get everything from a pistol to a shotgun to a rocket launcher. I had all of the weapons by the time I made it through the first of 6 stages. And it's all kind of couched in between this. It's not bad, but it's not great either. But it's suitable, like techno kind of drum and bass soundtrack that kind of drives you as you play. It has 4-player couch co-op, which I think is super good for a game like this. It does split screen, and it's available right now from on Nintendo Switch. Came out on the 28th, and it is $15. So it has all of that. All In Games is the publisher of this, and it's really cool. I think it's because a lot of the stages are dark and a lot of the light sourcing is real neon, like your character kind of glows in this bluish neon way. The aliens all have this magenta hued neon out of their mouths and stuff, and the flashlight throws this really cool shadow around. And the light sourcing in the game is really cool. I immediately noticed that. And you can upgrade those weapons and feel real powerful and feel real like you're really able to go take them on. But it's still challenging. Like I made it through the first stage by myself. But if it had been much more than that, I don't know that I could have done it on my own. So nice. If you like twin stick shooters, It Came From Space and Ate Our Brains. There you go.
Nice.
Nice little pickup there. Well, that's what we've been playing. Let's head over to the community spotlight.
Do it.
This week, we're going to shine the community spotlight very brightly on Patrick McNamara, who is Nintendo Talk on social medias. He is over with our good friend, the Nintendo guru, Bobby Pauls, on the Nintendo Talk podcast. And he's also over on YouTube doing his thing over there. But Patrick, just take a few minutes here. This is your space to basically promote yourself. Let our listeners know who you are, why you do what you do, and more importantly, where to find you and connect with you so they can see all this content you're producing.
Yeah, so I produce all my content over on youtube.com/NintenTalk. A lot of what you guys do, some reviews, discussions, stuff like that. I do have a podcast with Bobby, like you said, Nintendo Talk, which airs every single Wednesday on his channel. It's also available on iTunes and stuff like that. Later this year, I will be going to Twitch to start streaming. I used to stream over on YouTube, but equipment reasons, I have to get re-up on equipment. But yeah, you can find me over on YouTube and a plethora of stuff. So probably about like 3 or 4 uploads a week. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So far, like, what to you has been the most challenging thing about creating content, and even more specifically Nintendo content on a regular basis?
I think the biggest thing is like trying to stand out, because there's so much Nintendo, like, and it's good Nintendo content too. It's not just like the amount. Just finding the time and, you know, being creative and not sort of echoing other creators, and, you know, really having a voice. Like, I've been doing this since 2017. It's actually when I found you guys, and you know, I've been having a lot of fun with it. Been doing different styles of videos and seeing what is stuck. But yeah, I think definitely just standing out and not, you know, echoing and having your own like personal opinion on things. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Any kind of hopes and dreams for what you think we're gonna see from Nintendo in 2020?
Oh man, I've been on record for saying I think we're gonna see Odyssey 2 this year. I think that's the big holiday game. I think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be pushed to next year.
That was my prediction.
Yeah, I don't really think that there's a reason to put it out this year or to rush it out in any way. But you never really know with Nintendo, because it started as DLC. They're using the same engine. They're using the same map, it looks like. So could come out this year, but I'm leaning more towards Odyssey 2. But I'm just hungry for that Direct, man. I want to find out what's next.
When are you taking a guess for? When are you thinking?
I mean, I thought it was going to be January, but I think next month has to be.
Yeah.
And a little bit of like just for people's reference point, when we had originally reached out to Patrick, I had said we're really hoping for there's going to be a Direct of the 30th, so we're kind of pre booking you to hopefully get you in there. So, but this still worked out either which way, so we appreciate it.
Yeah, at this point, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jesse.
So I think last year the first big general Direct was the second week in February. So if they follow that up this year the same, we're looking at February 12th or 13th.
Yeah, I think it's funny you said it. At this point, it has to be next month. Well, when people hear this, it's going to be January 31st.
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely going to be a February Direct.
Yeah. And then we could possibly see another Direct in the form of like an Animal Crossing specific one. Because the Animal Crossing fan base, first of all, is nuts, because they flip out over like promo images and stuff. And we still don't know a ton about that game. So I would probably expect like a...
Yeah, like the sticker sheet that got shown earlier this week.
Yeah. They're like, oh, that character's confirmed.
Yeah, like at this point, I feel like we have to have an Animal Crossing Direct. Mm-hmm. And I kind of wonder why they did not wait for the system announcement until then, because there are things about the game that like they just like that. There's details about all the other big games that they have done in a Direct style that they have not done for Animal Crossing. I mean, we've gotten the Direct announcement, we've gotten the Direct delay, we've gotten a commercial since then, and the reveal kind of what it's going to be, and that was it. Yeah. Right? I mean, we've seen it four, maybe 5 times. So possibly a Animal Crossing Direct early in the month and a Nintendo Direct late in the month.
Well, that was a comment that I actually heard someone say. I think it was Nintendo Fangirl on Twitter had said, she's like, the fact that they're literally just shadow dropping us the Animal Crossing Switch is maybe an indication we're not getting a direct for a couple of weeks. Like, why would they have not just pulled that out there and been like, and by the way, the game launches in a month from now, and the Switch version is available. Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like it's a little bit like that may have been a good point. So I don't know.
Yeah. With Animal Crossing coming out March 20, I'm kind of thinking last week February, first week March might be a good time for a direct for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
I like
blow
it.
the doors on it, right?
Yeah. So if people wanted to find you on social media, Patrick, where would they go?
Yeah, so everything's at Nintendo Talk, just Twitter and YouTube. So
Awesome. Keep it simple.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys that are listening to us and you're listening to Patrick right now, go over there, become his friend or follow him on YouTube and Twitter. Show him some love. And Patrick, we really want to thank you for being on the show tonight. We really appreciate it.
No, thank you guys. You guys doing a great job.
Wow. Thank you.
He's speechless.
Yeah, I mean, it just gets you right there in the heart. Well, guys, that has been episode 265 of Nintendo Dads. And as we close out the show, let me make the announcement one more time that the Dinner Table Show is recording tomorrow night, or tonight as you hear this, if you're listening on Friday morning. If you'd like to be a part of that, you can contact our brand newest member of the Nintendo Dads podcast, Tim Off, and he will get you in there. You can DM him on Twitter or Discord. He would love for you to be a part of that. Also, as Justin mentioned earlier in the show, Dads After Dark is moving to a new feed. Episode 3 will be on that new feed. Episodes 1 and 2 will continue to be on our feed for about a week, and then they will make the permanent jump as well. So go on over to iTunes and Stitcher or Google Play or wherever and subscribe to the brand new Dads After Dark feed if you want to continue to be able to listen to them. As we close out the show, we want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Chris Mears, Dave Ernsberger, Sean Abbott, and Antonio Contronio, as well as our brand newest patrons who jumped in this week. And you can be just like them and head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads and jump in for as little as $1 a month. And we do appreciate each and every person who supports us over there. You can go check out our website at nintendodads.org for all of our YouTube videos, social media tweets and updates, podcast episodes, links to our Patreon page, and even some Nintendo Dads merch you can purchase over there. And you can email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or podcast@nintendodads.org. You can do either one. Most people, they email us at nintendodads@gmail.com. Just forget that second address. Don't even worry about it. Just nintendodads@gmail.com. You can email us there, and we will read your email live on the show. Or you can go back to the 80s. Monty, we've got to go back. You can leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. You leave us a voicemail, we'll play it right here on the show. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music we use throughout the show. Remember, it is always good and very kind to go to your favorite podcast service of choice. Leave us a written review and a 5-star review. It helps other people find us, and we thank you ahead of time for doing all that. For me, for Justin, for Jesse, and for Patrick from Nintendo Talk, this has been episode 265 of Nintendo Dads. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Grookey or Gruka? I don't know. You're a jerk. I hate you so much.